Good morning, traders. Welcome to our trading room. This video will be on YouTube as the weekly outlook. We're recording it Monday morning in our trading room for just the daily webinar. We'll be doing a lot more of this during the day. For those traders who follow me and would like to join the group, you know how to do that because a lot of you have sent me messages and asked for how to join. I've given you the details, and some of you are still considering it, right? Here's the thing. Those who already joined last year, they were already in the group. Those who took the installment program last year, they're already in the group doing their best and making money. Some traders took 1 month and immediately paid off. Yesterday, we got a new trader like that who actually paid for 1 month. I think he wanted to see what he's going to get for the month, and he is going to pay off. He wrote me over the weekend. He's waiting for the details. He's going to pay off. And I can tell you what he said. I can actually read the message. I will not use the name because I didn't ask his permission to use the name. I only saw the message in the night. But it's quite interesting because I hear this very, very often. Let me find his thing. I hear this very, very often from a lot of traders. And one of the things is that he said, this is an exact quote, "I'm really sad that I didn't find you sooner. Definitely wouldn't be in huge loss and wouldn't take such a long time to recover." Most of the recovery he got after he watched the free webinars, the 2-week free live access we gave them. That's when he started to get his recovery. And then he took the 1 month in subscription installment, and he's with us. He's going to be with the group very soon. So very often I get this from traders who said they regret not finding the video much earlier. So here's why I would like to ask all of you to do. If you watch my video on a regular basis, please share it. Save someone else from losing a lot of money. And these are not naive traders, right? I think traders, what we need to get is that these traders who are joining, none of them are naive traders. They're not new to trading. These are traders who have been trading for years. They have already took courses somewhere. They've already, and they weren't doing well until they joined the live sessions we do and then realized that there's a difference. And it's a long thing he wrote. I just gave you a piece of it. One of the other things he said that is important is that he find the way we manage trades, the way we enter, the way we exit trades, especially when they're not going, to be the life-saving thing for him. That is what made the difference. All the difference in his trading was that he started to understand when you need to get out of trades that are not going. And that was all the change. Not only did he bring back his account from where it was, he's making money. So if you would like to join the live sessions, send me a Skype message. I'll give you the details on how you can do that. I would advise anyone who is struggling. If you're having issues with your trading, you're struggling for whatever the difference, whatever your problem is, join it for a month. It's $100. Just join it for a month and see whether this makes the difference in your trading. That will help you. We can't do it free forever because, it's not fair to all my other traders who paid for it. But you can join for 1 month and you can learn. We probably have a promotion sometime at the end of this month, early February. If you really can't afford to pay, stick around and wait for that promotion, share the videos, and you'll get a chance to make money in 2 weeks. So let's go. Let's start. Dollar index. Nothing new, exactly as we expected it to happen. And I mean exactly the way we expected it to happen is what happened. The news came, it dropped. We expect this to drop. There was a pullback. Okay, we were out of the trade. It made 1, 2, 3. We expect another pullback to complete that running flat, and then we expect it to drop. This would have been a perfect trade. I don't remember Friday where we left off, so I'm not going to, we were calling the trades, but I'm going to take all of these off because I can't remember exactly. My weekend was really, really busy. So let's take all of this off. Okay, so what we expect here now, 2 things could happen. Go back to the bigger picture. I'll only do the bigger picture in this one, right? Let's come back to the bigger picture. We have moved down quite a lot. And remember, we said that at some point there are going to be deeper corrections. These are very big corrections, but at some point there are going to be deeper corrections. I think we can stick to this one here as a flat because it worked out perfect. So this would be that flat. Take this off. And these would be smaller corrections on the way down. I don't see any reason to pull it like this. It could be, we could also make an assumption that it might be this as a running flat. Both of those patterns are fitting the criteria for the patterns, whether you put this one as a flat separate or you put this as a running flat, because all these very corrective parts in here fits what we would call a running flat. This is relatively sharp and this is relatively sharp. So you could put either of those two patterns and you can see the sharp drop starting from there and the sharp drop here. Right, so that means you're out of that. Now here's the thing. How far would this go before we get a deeper or another correction? We do have divergence, and I mean a huge divergence here. On the 1 hour, the internal divergence is here. You can see that, which means within the structure, we're getting divergence. So any sell here will come only if we get a flag, which means we get a flag, we take the trade, measure one impulse, it makes one drop like that, take profit. So what happens here today would be probably next 6, 7, 8 hours before we get a trade for a sell. Can we actually get a buy if we think it is going to correct much deeper? We can do that. We can come here and see, well, this is gone already basically, but if you took that trade this morning as a risky trade, it's worth it because we can expect this to correct more. Divergence on the 60, divergence on the 4 hour, you're looking forward to some kind of a correction. This is just the first impulse up. On the hourly, you can see that. So there's no reason if you miss that to worry. Right, what we're going to look for is whether this consolidates in this range, or if you get a flag pulling back on the hourly for upside, we will buy. It's a risky trade, but we'll take the buy because the assumption is that with all that divergence, we could get a much deeper correction. On the daily, I think we looked at it, it's just one move down, right? So the entire piece here would be one move down on the daily. This one piece here would be one move down. We're getting internal divergence, which is good, which means this can come out to a bigger direction, a bigger correction here, and then drop. So go back to the 1 hour, and we'll wait to see if we get a flag or if we get a flat. Here it has to be the 1 hour. The 15-minute flag is gone already for the buy. Silver, we didn't break the top, so this is interesting. We didn't break, and this one didn't come down the way I expected to. Remember, we were expecting it to drop quite a lot, but it didn't drop quite a lot. So that means you end up at a flat here that is more of a regular flat. And you get this as a 1, 2, 3, which means we still have to come down back for this one. So there is still a down move coming here before you go, because you have the flat, two flats you have in this correction now. Take that out. Now we're with two flats in here. And one sharp move. So we can look for a sell setup. I think today we will look for a sell setup. Let's put it to the 15. Let me see. No, not as yet. This is still looking like a small flag for one more spike. Every time you see this, expect one more up. Take the trade. Even though we expect it to go down, doesn't mean that it can't break this top and then come down. That will just be a running flat. Right? So if we get an upside, take the trade, it will be only one single trade. As of now, it's an upside trade. It's a buy setup. If this drops a lot more, and it will have to drop quite a lot more, and then make a flag here, then we will go for the sell. The sell we will definitely take because it will come back and retest the low. So it's just a matter of whether it happens now or whether you get one more push up and then that happens. We'll get the sell this week. So there's a buy setup, very short term because you're at the top, which means all they need to do is one push and it can reverse immediately. Gold is a buy. There is no sell setup. It's buy. It actually worked very well. You got a nice trade there. Sell setup and gold. Well, the 15-minute is gone. That's a 15-minute one. And the 1 hour, we don't have anything. So what you're going to do is wait for the 1 hour one, let it come down, make a flag, and then we look for sell setups. That is only correction. We're still going up. And at some point, this will correct too. Right? This up move here will correct. It's a big up move. This entire piece is one sharp move with a small correction in the middle here in the daily. So either we get another daily correction here or we get a much deeper one before we go. Go back to the 1 hour. Any sell setup will take. For the buy, it's going to be what, 6 to 8 hours from now. Because if it becomes a buy, we'll be consolidating in this range here for a long time before it goes. The sell setup is the most immediate one you can get. And we'll see how deep the first impulse goes. So the 15-minute trade is gone. If anybody was there and you took an aggressive 15-minute trade, that was a really nice one. If you didn't, you have to wait for this to make another, I don't think another 15 minutes, most likely a 1 hour. Once this drop enough, you'll get a 1 hour correction. So we can get both this week. This week we could be in all week correction, which is tradable too, or we could be definitely going up. Yeah, the recording is on. It's on, Oscar. Thanks. Euro. We break the top, so if they want to come down with divergence in play, that's in the 4 hour. Yeah, we have a lot of 4 hour divergence, a lot of it. So yes, we can see some pullback as well. It's already coming down, no trade setup. So we'll just have to wait. This one is just a deep one, deep pullback for this. We broke the top, this is the top, so now you'll wait. The entry should have been from, if you're buying, it should have been from this point. That is off, take that off. So we'll wait now, wait for a flag. Let's see on the 15 if we had a flag. Yeah, you had a 15-minute flag there. So let's wait and see. Could this still make a running flat and go up? Go for this as a running flat and go up. Well, we can put an entry order here. Nothing's going to go wrong with that. You put an entry order there and it's not a running flat, they'll just consolidate here and drop more. We'll take off the entry for the buy and we can sell, but there's a possibility that this could be a running flat for one more impulse. So on the 1 hour, you can just put an entry order here. And that's a very safe entry, right? It's never going to tag you if it's not a running flat, right? Because it's not a running flat, it has to consolidate in this range to go, or it will make a flag here. And if it makes a flag here, well, all we will do is we'll pull this and we'll go for the sell, starting a deeper correction. Pound, same thing. It's already pulling back. So is it a correction or is it a deeper move down? I mean, smaller correction, a deeper move down. Let's see. We didn't break this top. And that's interesting. If they consolidate deeper in here, we'll probably be making a bigger correction here. Just a bigger correction because pound will likely still go up. Without breaking that top, it means we'll still be in this correction. This would be the first impulse of a much bigger correction in the making. So let's see if we get a trade. We don't have anything now. We'll just wait. It could also be to make another correction here and continue to climb. We'll be in the B part of this whole thing. It's going to be really corrective. Right, it's going to go. You get this. You get another flat here. If you get another flat here again, we go. We get another flat. We go. This will be so corrective that we'll get another one down before we go. It will still be the B part of it. Short-term trade sell we can go for if we get. Let's see if we have a buy setup. Nope, no buy setup. This one is a complete flat in here. Unlike euro, this one has a complete flat inside here. So there is no buy setup. This has to be a small flat of its own before we get a buy. And that will take some time. Aussie. Aussie broke the top. Come back in the 4 hour. That's a deep pullback. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get it very much deeper. This is a big one though. I'm not sure why we need another big one, because that's a pretty big pullback already by itself. Okay, let's just wait and see what it does. We do have some divergence here. So we'll have to wait and see if we get a much deeper correction before they go. If it's an impulsive move, it's strange that we're getting so much corrections in it. So the hope is that this is just making a flat at the top here. The hope is that this is just correcting here. We get something like this and then we go. Right, so we will know in the next 4 or 5 hours if we're getting any trade to the upside. To the downside, if it stays here as a flag, we will sell it. Take that off. If it stays in this range here as a flag, most likely, we'll go for the sell. That is only about 3 hours from now. So 2-3 hours sideways, we're going to sell. If it climbs back to the top, we'll have to wait for the flat and then buy. New Zealand, same. They all have pretty much the same structure. And we broke the top, right? We broke the top here. This is a complete flat. Let's see in the 4 hour we have. Oh, we didn't break this top. So we're in the correction in the pound. We're in the correction in the New Zealand. Aussie, we have a new high. See, we have a new high on euro. I think we have silver and gold having new highs. Yes, silver didn't make a new high. Silver has to come down back. So silver might be the key to what we're going to expect. This has to come back here and then go. So it could break the top, then come, but it has to come back and then go. That has a full pattern. This one has a new high. So we have about 3 with new highs. This one didn't make a new high. New Zealand didn't make a new high. So we'll keep, if you're not making new high and you're consolidating, we're in the correction. The only one that has a pattern that is going to complete itself is silver. So I think we focus on silver. It's an easier trade because we understand where we are in the trade. Let's see what happens here. This could still continue, make correction like this and continue to go. I don't see why we have a complete flat here, so it should take off. Let's see if we get a consolidation here or a buy. Most likely make a consolidation here and then we go for a buy. If it's going to drop, wait for a flag. CAD. We haven't broken the lows yet, so CAD has some more downside. And this could be a sell setup. Because we have more downside on the CAD. We have to break this low. If we're going to turn, we need to break that low first. Swiss. Same here, we haven't broken the low on Swiss. So the only thing about the Swiss is that this could be the start of the up move. Take this off. This here is the low. So that could be the start of an up move if we're going up, because there's only one small correction here that we bought. And this one is very, very corrective. So let's see in the 15 what it looks like. You can go with this whole piece here. 1, 2, 3. And now we have a 1, 2, 3. That could go back up. So on this one, both sides possible. They can drop lower to retest this one, or they could continue to go up because we have one move up only. We have this one move up and one move down, and this has the bigger correction. Let's look for upside, because the downside will take about 8 hours, 6 hours here to consolidate, but the upside could be a flag here that continue to go. So if we get a small flag there, we'll go for the buy. Yen. Okay, so we decide not to sell the yen. The last trade down, we decide not to sell, and as you can see, you would have been back at square. It's not a big move, and we're in this channel, which means that now we would either look for a correction, we'd look for some kind of a correction here, and then continuation to the downside, breaking out of the channel, or we're going to look for a reversal that is a deeper pullback. At this point, either of those is possible. So it's easy, just wait to see whether we get a confirmation for a buy or a confirmation for a sell. Right now, neither. There was a sell setup here, a short-term sell setup. This one. That's a break-even trade because it's already 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, and you're in the 5th one. So there is no sell setup. If it stays here and make another flag, we'll sell. If we get another flag like that, we'll sell. And that means that will take about 6 to 8 hours. How much hours is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. So if you're going to get a trade, this will be probably in about 4 or 5 hours from now, because it's already consolidated 1, 2, 3 hours. Swiss yen, correction upwards. Look for sell setup. It's a bigger picture. Go for the sell. It's going to continue to go down. So we'll look for sell setup here. CAD, same. Look for more sell setup. You're getting a bigger correction here. New Zealand yen. This is the only one that could be a buy setup. These are sharp moves, so this could actually come back and retest the stop, and we're getting some consolidation for a buy. We're getting some 1 hour consolidation here for a buy, so you can put an intrader here for a buy. I don't think we have a complete pattern there. Check it on the 15. No, we don't. So that will take a while. All you have is this 1, 2, 3, and you're getting this. So let this continue here, drop back here, go back up there, come back here, and then you got a full flat for upside. So on the 15, it will take a while more. That's a couple hours before we get, but it's a buy setup that is forming right now. The only way we take off the buy is if this comes consolidate, but come much lower. Right now it's at the top, so that's okay. That's a buy setup we can do it. Aussie yen. But it all depends on whether this goes back to the top and then come down. Because we could make an argument for that flat in the middle there. That makes sense. So let's wait. We have to wait to see whether we get a flag there or a flat. Right now it's a flag. It's a flag making here. So that'd be a buy setup. Euro yen. Most likely a sell setup because the depth of the pullback. The depth of this pullback is most likely a sell setup. Let's wait and see. Hong yen. Take that out. That was a sell. It's most likely a correction happening here. And that looks upside. Wait, sorry, Hong yen. That looks upside. And this consolidation is in the top half of it. So this looks mostly upside, especially if the consolidation stays here. We can go for the buy setup on this one. Here in New Zealand, we're looking for a buy setup. We've got a big flat here, really big flat. So we've got a sharp move down. You get 1, 2, you get a flat in the middle here. You get this up. You get a down move. Look for the buy setup. Wait for a flag somewhere. We don't have anything. So wait for a 15-minute flag. Wait for a 15-minute flag on this one and we're going for a buy. If not, you can put an entry order above the top. That's the 1 hour trade. All right, so that's a buy setup and we'll see how high that goes. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Let's go. EuroCAD. Look for buy setup. We're breaking out, so any consolidation here will be a buy. It is consolidating, so that should be a buy setup. You're getting some consolidation here. And then we look for a buy setup. So on the 1 hour, it has to come down somewhere first. This piece comes back to this level, and then we look for a buy setup. It could be a little more complex than that, but once it comes to the bottom, we start looking for the buy setup. Euro pound. Okay, it's coming lower. Take this off. It never broke out. Take that off and take this off. This could drop because this is all one big correction for downside. That does not change. Right? This whole thing here is one big correction for downside. That still remains so. You just have to wait until this starts to go down, confirm downside, and then we'll go with it. See on the 1 hour. We don't really have anything much on the 1 hour. If it is going to go down because it's coming so slow, you want to make sure you get a flag here, and then that would be the sell setup. Something like this for the buy, you wait for the same thing for the sell. So flag would give us a sell. Euro was definitely a buy setup. If you get a flag here, we'll take the trade up. So all we need is a flag in this area here, and that would be for a trade for the upside, and we'll see what that goes. Short term, that's a very good trade because you got a lot of consolidation there. Right, the bigger trade would be at the top, but that's a huge range, so you don't have to buy from the top. You can wait from here to go. That is already 97 pips. So let's see if we get a flag here for a buy on the 15. Euro Swiss. You're getting a sell setup here. This flag already broke, but it's not going as yet. So probably put it like this, wait for it to come back here and then put an entry under the low. That's a sell setup, but I think we expect this to go down. Yeah, we're expecting this move down. That's a messy move, but if that happened, that would be the move you're looking for. Put it like this now. So this is an easy one for the downside. Wait for it. You can actually put an entry order here now, because if this is a little pullback after that flag, the sell here is not a bad idea. Even if it goes back to the top here and then drop. If it drops from now, it's still a good sell. Punkat. How's the big picture? Do we have more upside? Not necessarily. Not necessarily going to go back up, so we'll have to wait. There's no buy setup, there's no sell setup. This is not a buy setup, and we definitely don't have a sell yet. If all of this is going to be a sell, we'll have to wait until it comes back and make a flag. Pound Swiss. Upside. More upside, so look for buy setups. We do have a flat here, but it's not going up as yet, so let's see how that works. There's a buy setup in here. It's inside the consolidation, so you have to take this with caution. But it's upside. The bigger picture is still upside. Pound New Zealand. Let's ignore it. It's kind of in one big sideways mess. Yeah. Consolidating. There will be a drop here, just like this piece. It's similar to this piece here. See this? You get a drop. So once this works its way up to the top here, look for this drop to the bottom. That'd be a good trade. Pound Oz. We're waiting for the reversal. It has some more downside. Like I said last week, they already broke that low, so it can still come down somewhere here. Don't try to sell it, but wait for the buy. Once we get impulse in the flag, we're taking the buy. All right, so the buy here is pretty simple. How much more? Sorry, excuse me. How much more can this work its way down? Well, not a lot more, but it can go somewhere. We do have divergence. So the buy setup is coming really soon. I think this week we get that buy. Aussie CAD. It's already breaking the top, so if we get sell setup, we'll take it. Aussie Swiss. A little more upside because we just had this flat. So this should work its way up a little more. If you get a buy setup here, it would be worth it. Cat Swiss. Take this off. It can correct more. We're correcting upwards, so there can be more correction upwards, and then it's going to drop. You would have to wait for an impulse and a flag to get a trade. Don't try to buy above the top. You have to buy it from the bottom here. If we're going to get a good trade to the upside, we have to buy it from the bottom, and then we can look for sell from the top coming down. There isn't any trade set up there. Not for the buy, not for the sell. New Zealand CAD. Okay, if this pulls back, we get one more trade up. Okay. This here pulls back like that, we get one more trade up because there's a running flat in here. One more trade up and then probably downside. So once it pulls back, we can go for the buy. It's still kind of in a consolidation, so there's no big trade to the upside. Not as yet. Aussie, New Zealand. Okay, you can one more buy and then look for sell setups. There's one more flat forming here. That's one more upside. And then we'll start to look for the sell setup because the bigger trade is to the downside. So there's a buy setup here right now. Go for this trade. It's really slow. Like this one. Remember the breakout of that from here? It's slow. It's still going. Probably will continue to go for a while. You have to make sure you're getting positive swaps before you take this. New Zealand Swiss. Let's see. It's a flat, so there's a buy setup. You can go for this buy here. It has to break the top because we just had a flat here. You could actually go with a running flat as well. Then we can run with that as a running flat. So the buy setup here is a good idea. It will be short term because you're correcting. We've got this. Let's see the bigger picture. Yeah, this is a correction in this one. So that trade is a very short-term trade. It's only to break the top again. Natural gas. Buy setup. Put an entry here. The sell is over. We broke the low. It's a buy setup now. It's perfect flag there, actually. US oil. The buy is over. Look for the sell now. Wait for a flag. Take the trade. If we get any flag here, we're taking the trade to the downside. So we're looking for a sell on the US oil, sell on the UK oil. Even if they're just coming back to the low, and then we'll continue to go up. It's a sell back to the, coming back, correcting this whole thing, and then go. Or it's totally dropping. The sell was good. It went back. We expected that. Remember, I said it's single drop, take profit. It could still pull back, depending on how you look at it. If we take this as a separate running flat, and this move up here makes sense on its own. Wait for a flag. If it makes a flag, we buy. Right? If it makes a flag there, we buy. I think we're making a flag right now. We've got 4 candles sideways. That's a buy setup. It's something at a 15 here. And it depends on how you look at this whole piece. If that is for the downside, then this first move is up. This is the correction we're going. There is no sell setup. There's a buy setup, but there is no sell setup. If we're going to get a sell, this would have to come down much deeper, make a flag, and then we go for the sell. Just like this. But right now it's a buy setup. And probably the same here. Yes. And probably the same here. All 3 of those cells were wonderful. So now we wait for the buy setups on that. DAX is a short-term buy. If you took the trade, take profit. If you get another buy setup, take the trade, take profit. Don't keep it, right? Because any one of these up move could be the very last up move. So take the trade, take profit, and then we go. Nifty. It's coming up back, and then you get a sell setup. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin went up some more. I think a lot of traders are looking for what we're going to do with the Bitcoin now. Well, nothing much. Remember, I said this was a buy, this was a buy, and these are buys, but you take them with caution, which means if you bought any of the previous one, you're moving your stops to the upside. If you're buying these, you're putting an entry under the break even in case it's still dropped. Now, in the bigger picture, let's go back to the bigger picture on the daily. It's spiked up quite a lot, but that doesn't change the structure as yet. That has not changed anything structurally. Because we've had bigger spike up than that. Look at this one. And they still drop, right? This is still pretty flat. So what will change is if we get a correction here. If this corrects here and make a flag and it starts to go up, then that could change everything. That means that this big flat at the bottom here, and it's strangely, I think we broke the low. Let me go back and look at this. Then we'd have to relook at the pattern at the bottom if that's the case. Because then this becomes the low. Right? If that happens, we're going to go with this is the low. Right? This becomes its own correction up. This would be a contracting flat. This would be the low, and that would be a move to the upside. We still have this very sharp wave. I don't think we have anything to put it with. So that is why there's still a potential for downside. Now let's see. We just broke the top. Yep, we broke the top already. So putting an entry above the top might not be a good idea. I still think we're going to go one more up. This is the sharp wave down, and this is up, right? So all of this is just correction. Come back to this level, and then you get one more up. At least one more impulse up. Take it one at a time. If you're buying for the very first time and it make a spike, put your entry order to sell at your break even or above the break even. So if it should drop back, you'll be out of the trade. All right, so right now I think this should come down a little more here. And then there's a buy setup. ETH, same here. All right, this could come down a little more. You have one sharp wave there. And then go. This could crawl up a little more to the top first two, then come, then go. So I think we'll be looking for that trade. This never broke out. It actually just went up. And if it goes up, not your trade. Let's go. This was a buy, and I still think it's a buy. Wait for this to come down back. And then upside. XRP, also a buy. Let it pull back here, and then one more trade up. Each one of this, we're going to take them as one more trade up because they're all in a bigger consolidation. See this? This is in a bigger consolidation. This one could go quite a lot. This one could go back all the way to this top. We're in this range, right? Now, this didn't go in a straight line, and this didn't come down in a straight line. And this so far is pretty much one move up. So even if it breaks that top, it can come back pretty deep and then do this and go there before we we come down back. So if you're buying this, be cautioned. This is in a big flat, so it should come back down. But you're trading towards this top and you have a buy setup. Wait for the pullback, go for the trade. LTC. This is going up too, but you can see that this doesn't really look like the impulse we were looking for to the upside. This is pretty corrective. So if you're buying here, you're buying one more with caution, one more impulse up. If we get a sell setup, we go for it. Let's see what we have right now. You're actually getting a sell setup, but it might not be the one that is going to drop. Right, you're getting this, you can, because the down move was pretty slow. So this goes back up, it gives you a sell. Especially if it doesn't come back to the top, gives you a sell. We can take it, get it to break even, and see if you get one more buy. Dodge. Yeah, we're pretty much on the downside of things here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they drop. If this drop one more. Go back to the 1 hour, look for the sell setup. The buy will only come if this actually consolidates here a longer time, like this. Then we can go for the buy. Right now, it's more of a sell setup. ADA. ADA is breaking out. It's coming from a low, so you can continue the buying. We're buying this. There are 3 of them that are coming from a low that we're buying. ADA is one of them. I think you can make an argument for running flat here or just smaller flags. Either this is one of its own, but this has a lot of consolidation. So we could look at this as a running flat. And this is upside. So look for more buys in this link. This one is also in consolidation. And it can go up some more. I can see this actually going up some more. Retesting this top or maybe this top. And then drop. So there's a buy setup here. Go for it. I think this is incomplete. There's like a B wave correction in here, which would probably just stay here for a while, come back, and then upside. Let's go. This one is from a low, so you can go for buy setups. This is from a low, and it's moving the way we expect it to move. It's already moving really fast. We expect it to move this much from this low. We expect it to go that much. That is this impulse up. And then that will complete this flat. So there's still more to go. Still have more buy setups. So yeah, and it can go really sharp. See, this one was really sharp and it's going really sharp. So buy setups, go for them. Wait for 1 hour flags, buy. You're getting another 1 hour flag here. That's another buy setup. And I think one more we have that is from the bottom. This is consolidating. You're in a correction, so I don't see this taking off like a rocket. This one I think is from the bottom too, going up. And I do think we have some more upside. Probably come all the way here before you actually go down back. See something like that. So there are more buy setups. BNB. BNB is in the consolidation. So if you buy, you can buy it, but buy it with caution. Dash. Dash broke the low. So that upside is, it's big. It could go quite a lot up because you're coming from a low point. So look for any flag and continue the buying. You will get a flag here, basically. I think this here would become a flag. You can go for running flat as well. With an entry above the top. Because it could be a running flat, and that means it's going to take off. And this was the buy setup, and it's still a buy. You got another buy setup. This is another one coming from all the way from the low. Go to the daily. We're coming from a low point. See the lowest point here to go up. So yes, that's a good one. Now it might make a spike like this or a bigger flat like this and then go down, but that's a far away from now. This is the first impulse up, and it's buy setup, and you're getting another buy setup here. So I like this trade. That's all, guys. It's a pretty long one. For again, reminder for all those traders who want more details and more update, join us. Join the 2 live sessions we have in the New York and the London. So London session is at 8 a.m. London. New York session 8 a.m. New York. We come in 5-10 minutes before the session starts.